Hello everybody and welcome back. As always, I am Mateo311 and this is your channel for everything VR related. Today, we have a sneak peek of 3 amazing co-op games that are all releasing in the near future. I got to spend multiple hours in each of these titles, and I'm glad to report they're all looking excellent, and there should be something for all of the VR co-op fans out there. Today's titles include Espire 2, Drop Dead the Cabin, and Gambit, and I'll also be throwing in a 4th little bonus title that I haven't played yet, but we recently got some more information on. So I'll give you a summary for each of these titles, show off a little bit of gameplay, and then of course let you know my first impressions. I do of course want to hear down in the comments what game you are most excited for, even if it's not one of the games on today's list. Now there are of course links and timestamps to all of today's topics, but before we jump in, this video is sponsored by Kiwi Design, one of my favorite sites for VR accessories. They recently released some new Quest 2 headphones that promise to pack some extra bass and increase your audio experience. They currently have my favorite Quest 2 Elite strap with battery pack, and there's plenty of other accessories like enhanced controller grips, replacement facial covers, link cables, and much more. There's a link down in the description, and don't forget to use discount code Mateo311 for 5% off and to help support this channel. Okay, so before we get started, I do need to mention that for each of these titles, I have been playing a pre-release unfinished build. So if anything looks a bit off, keep that in mind. But I have to say the overall quality on these titles has been excellent, and I've definitely enjoyed each of them. So let's start off with Drop Dead the Cabin. This is a 2-player co-op zombie horde game set in the Drop Dead universe. As the title lets you know right from the beginning, it is designed to be very challenging, and unlike other titles such as Arizona Sunshine or After the Fall, you are under constant assault, ammo is sparse, and melee weapons will break with usage. The game's tutorial only provides a bare minimum amount of information, so you'll need to discover this game's secrets while under constant attack. This leads to plenty of tension and some hilarious moments as you and your teammates scramble for survival. There's a global leaderboard, a leveling system, and this title also includes those meta avatars, which are cool but feel a bit out of place here. Drop Dead has you taking on the role of a hiker who stumbles into a research facility disguised as a cabin. You'll be forced to kill creatures, earning research points that can then be used to open doors, ammo crates, and even completely different game areas with new challenges. Your goal is to survive a 15-minute countdown as you're waiting for a helicopter extraction. But you'll also need to find fuel cells and keep the computer systems running, otherwise help will not be on the way. Making the best usage of your limited supplies and deciding when to open specific areas will be your key to survival. This game is designed for maximum replayability, so expect to fail multiple times before you ever get extracted, and when you finally do make it out, that isn't the end because there's plenty of new areas to discover and leveling up to do. This game is ideal for people who enjoy horde mode titles, but if you found Arizona Sunshine or After the Fall a bit too repetitive or not challenging enough, Drop Dead the Cabin puts a nice new spin on the genre with new elements and gameplay mechanics. Now another title with some excellent gameplay mechanics is Espire 2. This is a 2-player co-op robot embodying Splinter Cell emulating adventure title. The original Espire 1 was a single-player title and overall a bit of a letdown due to its launch bugs and mediocre mechanics implementation. Espire 2 on the other hand is a really exciting new take. For starters, I love the fact that they went with a co-op campaign, something we rarely get in VR. Additionally, it allows you to control 2 separate robotic chassis, one specializing in running and gunning, while the other is designed for stealth. This leads to plenty of strategy and the need for a high level of communication between your partner. You can absolutely still go in guns blazing, but you're just gonna make the game harder on yourself. Instead, you can sneak up on your enemies, taser them or trank dart them to sleep, and then hide the bodies. Besides your typical soldiers, there's plenty of other obstacles you'll be facing, such as automated turrets, security cameras, trip mines, holographic decoy soldiers, tactical units that get airdropped in, and even some enemy robots. The original title was attempting to be Splinter Cell in VR, and while it ultimately fell short, Espire 2 not only feels more successful, but also takes on a bit more of its own personality, with an intriguing storyline, excellent VR mechanics, like the ability to climb any surface, or issue commands to soldiers with your voice, and finally, it utilizes one major feature of VR, which is adjusting the user perspective. Controlling the much smaller stealth-based robotic chassis makes the world around you seem significantly different. Guns or enemies may appear gigantic, or you might find some smaller paths that are only available to your specific chassis. Overall, the title is shaping up to be an excellent combination of storytelling, in-game mechanics, and co-op gameplay. If you've been looking for a meatier co-op experience, something that's not just kill everything in sight and survive as long as possible, then Espire 2 should be on your wish list. Now, another title you should consider putting on your wish list is the high-intensity 4-person co-op shooter Gambit. This adrenaline-fueled, profanity-laced title feels like a cross between Borderlands and Left 4 Dead. It features a lengthy campaign, a large amount of weapon unlockables, customizable skins, a surprising amount of gameplay mechanics for a shooter, and some truly over-the-top dialogue. Similar to Borderlands, gritty humor is at the core of this title, and the most mechanically similar game out there right now is After the Fall. But rather than creepy zombies in a frozen wasteland, we have comic book style ruffians to dispatch. Additionally, every level acts like a mini puzzle game with hidden areas, secret unlockables, and parkour sections with plenty of loot to find. So if you just want to blast through the title and take in the action and the overall campaign, you can, but in between all of the fighting is where you can find additional unlockables, compete in some parkour races, or just tag up the walls with graffiti. The game features 4 distinct playable characters, each with their own special weapon that you can engage whenever your rage bar maxes out. This includes a chainsaw for up close and personal kills, a defibrillator that zaps everything in sight, an explosive bow and arrow, and finally a crossbow that can vaporize your enemies. So the overall focus is on fast-paced, arcadey combat, maximum replayability, and having some laughs with your friends. The game also offered a nice level of challenge, so you might want to go back, replay some levels, find some secrets, unlock stronger guns, and then push further into the campaign. As it currently stands, this is a pretty easy co-op title to recommend to just about everyone, unless you have something against vulgarity and blood and guts. Okay, so the last title on today's list I have not tried yet, but we did recently get some new information, and that's for the upcoming Ghostbusters VR title, which will officially be named Ghostbusters Rise of the Ghost Lord. This is another 4-person co-op title. It's planned to release on the Quest 2 and PlayStation VR 2 sometime in 2023, with no official release date just yet. Now you could go in alone or bring up to 3 of your friends, building up your San Francisco Ghostbusters HQ, unraveling a new mystery in the Ghostbusters universe, wielding iconic weapons that'll have you tracking, blasting, and trapping ghosts in a lengthy and engrossing campaign that'll have you battling a new threat, the Ghost Lord. They're also making sure to stick to the spirit of the original source material, including some frights and an ample amount of humor. It also looks like this is another title focusing on replayability, as your characters will have an array of unlockables. Overall, I'm pretty hyped for this game. I definitely want to experience it on the PlayStation VR 2 to see how much those new haptics and increased graphics add to the overall experience. And I'm expecting a really fun gameplay loop, but In Dreams has also delivered some great single-player titles that are full of action, further increasing my hopes for this game. For now, we'll just have to wait for more information, and luckily the first 3 games in this title you'll be playing quite soon, but I want to know what title you're most interested in. Let me know in the comments right now which game sounds the best, or if none of these interest you. That was today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, consider subscribing, and as always, I'll see you guys on next time.